How many of you feel that your irons all seem to go the same distance? This is a complaint I hear so often, especially among beginner golfers and those that are higher handicappers. In today's lesson, we're going to discuss the reason why that occurs and how you can develop that perfect gap in your yardages. How do you develop the perfect gap in your yardages between clubs? Well, typically on average, the perfect gap is going to be between 10 and 15 yards. I've got my 7-iron and my 8-iron here. I usually have about a 10-yard gap. That varies from player to player. But the first thing I want you to do is have your clubs checked. Even the best players in the world, when they get their clubs directly from the manufacturers, they take them into a good club fitter and they have the lofts checked on their clubs because they may not be consistent. And for players like that are hitting thousands and thousands of balls a day and swinging hard, their lofts can actually change over time. Many of them will get them checked every week or every couple of weeks. So go ahead and do that to your set, have them checked if you feel like you're not getting a consistent gap. If you're a beginner, it usually takes a good 2 to 3 years to develop a consistent golf swing. So don't expect this to happen right off of the bat. But after a few years with practice and developing a more consistent swing, you're going to see those nice yardages. Now, 3 things that can affect the gap or the distance between your clubs. 1 is swing speed. 2 is actually your angle of attack with the club shaft. And 3 is your swing plane. So I'm going to go over those real briefly here. Speed. We need to generate a lot of speed. The faster we swing, the more of a gap, the more distance you're going to see between the clubs. I always use the example of if we had, a 90-year-old golfer here that didn't have a lot of strength and was getting a little bit tight and they're swinging really slow with everything, you're going to see all the balls just kind of dive. They're just going to dive into the ground and catch the ground too soon, and you're not going to see that big disparity that we want to see. As far as your shaft angle goes at impact, we need a consistent shaft angle. We want a forward-leaning shaft with irons. If I come into one shot, say, with my 7-iron like this, and then I come in with my 6-iron like this and it's leaning back, I've added loft. I'm basically turning that 6-iron now into a 7-iron, so they're both going to seem the same. So your technique is very important here. And the last thing is your swing plane. For the same reason, if I'm coming in super, super steep, hitting down and just popping the ball up on one swing versus on another swing it's changing, I'm coming in more shallow and shooting the ball out lower, I'm going to see some disparity there. So again, it's club head speed, it's the shaft angle at impact, and it's your swing plane. So I want you to focus on those 3 parts of your swing, get your clubs checked, and see if you don't get more consistency. It's simple and it works. Remember, if you have an idea for a lesson, submit it in the Ask Maria section on mygolfinstructor.com.